I walked up to my first woman with a clipboard and sweaty palms, knowing this experiment would either give me the answers I desperately needed or get me slapped in the face. "Excuse me, can I ask you an anonymous question for a research project?" She nodded. "What's the number one thing that makes you genuinely turned on by a guy?" Her answer made me rethink everything I thought I knew about women. But 6 months and 500 brutally honest conversations later, I had data that completely destroys every piece of dating advice you've ever heard. The number one response wasn't confidence, looks, money, or being mysterious. It was something so simple that most guys accidentally do the exact opposite every single day. But here's what really messed with my head. Every dating coach online is teaching you to kill this thing without even knowing it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes women's minds go to places they don't talk about in polite conversation. Think about the last time you were talking to a woman you wanted. I'm willing to bet you made one specific mistake that killed any sexual tension before it could build. Drop a comment if you think you know what it is. This research started after the most humiliating rejection of my life. I was at a house party, talking to Jessica for over an hour. She was laughing, touching my arm, giving me all the green lights, so I asked for her number. "You seem really sweet," she said, "but I'm just not feeling that spark, you know?" Sweet. I'd spent 2 hours being charming, funny, and interesting, and she saw me as sweet. That night I realized I had no idea what actually turned women on. I was guessing, copying movies, following advice from guys who were probably just as clueless. So I went straight to the source. The first 50 women gave me predictable answers. Confidence, humor, ambition. But around survey 60, something shifted. Women started describing feelings and moments rather than qualities and characteristics. According to Dr. Helen Fisher's research on attraction, there's a specific brain state that triggers sexual desire in women. When this gets activated, women describe feeling hit by lightning or completely consumed by thoughts of you. But most dating advice actually prevents this state from forming. All those techniques about being mysterious, playing hard to get, showing value, they create performance anxiety, not sexual tension. I discovered this during survey number 127 with a woman named Rachel, and it changed everything. He made me feel like I was the only person in the room, but not because he was trying to impress me, because he genuinely didn't care about anyone else. That phrase unlocked something huge. It wasn't about confidence or alpha behavior. It was about a specific type of focus that most guys never develop because they're too busy managing everyone's opinion. When I asked women to describe the exact moment they knew they wanted to sleep with someone, 78% described it as a sudden shift in how present the guy became. Not more charming, more present. But listen, presence isn't eye contact or deeper questions. Those are techniques, and women smell techniques from miles away. Real presence is something else entirely. I learned this the hard way during survey number 203. I was talking to a bartender named Alex after her shift, and she was describing her most memorable hookup. He wasn't even good looking, but when he looked at me, it felt like he could see straight through me in a way that made me want to show him more. Sexual attraction isn't about what you show her. It's about creating space where she wants to reveal herself to you. The guys who are naturally good with women are doing fewer things, but with a specific quality of attention that creates what one woman described as gravitational pull. I started noticing this pattern everywhere. Certain guys could walk into rooms and women would just move toward them. Not because they were loudest or most fun, but because conversations with them felt different. But if you want your entire life to feel different, kindly subscribe to the channel. It's your only way of saying thank you, and yes, it means a lot to me. Survey number 312 gave me my biggest breakthrough. I was talking to Emma, a nurse who'd just gotten out of a long relationship. She was describing why she'd been attracted to her ex, despite him being, in her words, objectively not my type. When we first met, I was having the worst day. A patient died. I was exhausted. But surprisingly, he didn't try to cheer me up or fix anything. He just said, "That sounds really heavy," then got quiet and let me feel what I was feeling. She paused. Most guys would have tried to distract me or make jokes, but he just held space for me to be human, and something about that made me want to take all my clothes off. She wasn't talking about romance here. This was raw sexual desire triggered by something that had nothing to do with pickup techniques. Most guys approach attraction backwards. They think sexual tension comes from creating excitement, building energy, but my research showed it actually comes from creating safety. The safety to be completely real without judgment. But you can't create this safety by trying to be accepting. Trying means you're still performing. Women sense performance, and it kills the effect. The real breakthrough came during survey number 398. I was talking to Sarah, a marketing executive, about her most memorable sexual encounter. She described meeting a guy at a wedding who seemed completely indifferent to impressing anyone. Everyone else was networking or showing off, but he was just existing, comfortable taking up space without needing to prove anything. When he talked to me, it wasn't to get somewhere. He was genuinely curious about something I'd said. She got quiet. I've never wanted someone that badly, that quickly, like he gave me permission to want him by not needing me to. This made me realize that sexual attraction isn't created by need or pursuit. It's created by the absence of those things, by self-containment that most guys never develop because they're too busy trying to get something from women. Think about your own experience for a second. When was the last time you had a conversation with a woman where you genuinely weren't trying to get anywhere, where you weren't managing her impression or calculating your next move? Women sense when you're in trying to win mode. It triggers their guard, not their desire. It's like chasing a cat. The harder you try, the further it runs. But you can't fake self-containment. You can't pretend not to need validation while secretly craving it. Women have a radar for neediness, more sensitive than lie detectors. But my final survey, number 500, with Maya at an art gallery, I thought I had it figured out. I'd show perfect non-neediness, be mysterious without trying. It backfired. You seem like you're trying really hard to seem like you're not trying hard. It's exhausting to watch. Brutal. But the final piece, you can't perform non-neediness. It has to be real, which means actually not needing external approval to feel good about yourself. The number one thing that makes women horny is a man completely comfortable in his own skin without needing anyone else's approval to stay there. Not aggressive confidence, not calculated mystery, just genuinely at peace with who he is. One woman described it perfectly. It's like he has his own gravitational field. You want to get closer not because he's pulling you, but because the space around him feels more alive. This has almost nothing to do with dating techniques or social skills. These guys aren't better at conversation or more attractive. They've done the work to become genuinely self-sufficient. But after completing 500 surveys, I tested this for 3 months, and the results were immediate. Women who'd been declining second dates started texting first. Conversations became effortless. Sexual tension happened naturally. The real test came 6 months later when I ran into Jessica, the woman from the house party who'd called me sweet. We talked for 2 hours, and when I asked for her number, everything was different. I was hoping you'd ask. There's something different about you now. You feel solid, like a man who doesn't need external validation to know his worth. So, what's the number one thing that makes women horny? It's not pickup lines or dating strategies. It's your ability to be completely okay with who you are, regardless of whether anyone else approves. You don't get women by needing them. You get them by not needing them at all. But everything I just told you is totally useless if you can't focus. So watch this video next, where I explain exactly why you can't focus and how to fix that. I'll see you there.